Clerk, please call the roll.
Good morning, everyone. Calling the roll for the Monday, August 31st Board of Control meeting. It is now 11:02 a.m. We have Nan Baker.
Here.
Dale Miller.
Probably
Here.
didn't see.
Trevor Mackler serving as an alternate for Dan Brady.
Here.
Lisa Rocco serving as an alternate for the fiscal officer.
Here.
Mike Chambers serving as an alternate for Armin Budish.
Here.
Lenora Lockett. Nicole English serving as an alternate for Mike Dever.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Moving on to review the minutes from August 24th. Unless I hear otherwise from any of the board members, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Trevor, second. This is Dale, I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Do we have any public comment? If there's any public comment, you may speak now. Once, twice. No public comment. Moving on to contracts and awards.
First new item, item number BC 2020-494, Department of Information Technology, submitting an amendment to a contract with DWR Consulting for consultant services to maintain, upgrade, and support the famous and payroll system applications. It's for the period April 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2020, to extend the time period to March 31st, 2021, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $72,000.
Good morning, Janelle Green on behalf of the Department of IT. This request is for the renewal of the contract with DWR Consulting. This is especially for staff augmentation that Dave Rowski provides to the mainframe and payroll teams. He has been a vital part of the team for a number of years at this point, as he is assisting in the migration to the N4 payroll and WFM environment.
Okay, thank you, Janelle. Are there any questions from the board members on this item?
This is Dale, and is this an additional expense that was created due to the delay in implementation, or is this something that was previously anticipated?
This was kind of a hybrid of both. So we have been putting the numbers to extend Dave's contract out. We originally put it to the end of this year, which was our original intent. But there is a little bit of more money added on to accommodate the extension of the payroll and WFM.
Okay, any further questions from the board? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Is a two-part item, item number BC 2020-495, Department of Information Technology. A, submitting an RFP exemption on requisition 2863, which will result in an award recommendation to Dell Marketing LP in the amount not to exceed $28,484.78 for the purchase of 2 Microsoft SQL Server Enterprise Core licenses for the Galaxy Badge system, and B, recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Good morning again. This is Janelle Green on behalf of the Department of IT. This is again for the purchase of 2 Microsoft SQL Server licenses. We are procuring these through Dell licensing, as we, in July, we amended the enterprise licensing agreement with them, which requires us to procure licenses through them directly. The purpose of the purchase is to allow us to create a virtual server that will be used for the storage and access control in the Galaxy badging system, which is, what all employees use to access the system. If there are any other questions, I'll be gladly able to answer them.
Thank you, Janelle. Are there any questions from the board? None. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second. This is Dale.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right.
Opposed? Okay, item approved. Next item.
Item number BC 2020-496, Department of Human Resources, submitting an amendment to a contract with Quick Employment LLC for sourcing and staffing of temporary employees for the period August 8th, 2017 through December 31st, 2020, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2021, to change the terms to include job titles and pay rates for Benefits Coordinator, Benefits Coordinator 2, and Payroll Officer 2, effective August 31st, 2020, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $99,000.
Good morning, Pat Smock on behalf of the Department of Human Resources. This request is for time extension and additional dollars to our active temporary services contract with Quick Employment. The firm was originally selected through an RFP process. They're a certified diversity business with the county. There are two reasons for this extension request. The first is it allows a temporary staff that's been working with our HR payroll, backfilling due to staff vacancies, and working on testing the ERP project to continue in her role. The employee works the same schedule as other payroll staff, including weekends and holidays, very familiar with our systems. The second is two employees, one who is backfilling due to vacancies in HR payroll and one in HR benefits, will be moving from the main sale temporary contract, which has come to an end, onto this contract at a much lower cost. These employees are also familiar with the current systems, the ERP, benefits, open enrollment, et cetera. The funding percentages are split based on the roles the employees will be performing. That is the amount of time they spend on general fund payroll tasks, benefits tasks, and ERP tasks. And we appreciate your consideration of this request.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
Oh, this is Nan. I have a question.
Sure.
Questions that were asked prior, and I'm not sure if I heard this answer. I did hear that there's vacancies and we are replacing those positions. But is this then not a new expense? This is not asking for more dollars for those reasons, or is this is asking for more dollars, even though we're filling vacancies?
Thank you for your question, Councilwoman. This is for additional funds to take us from the end of this contract through part of 2021. It's also for additional funds in 2020 to add the two employees who are coming off the main sale contract who are here to continue their work in 2020. So the employees are here. They're not additional temporary staff that we're adding, but we need the additional funds so that we won't be paying main sale, we'll be paying this firm. And then we do need the additional funds in 2021 because we extended this contract out slightly as well. I hope that answers your question.
It does. How do the vacancies play into this? I understand May sale and continuing those employees, but did you say something about vacancies and not being able to hire for those positions? Or I guess I just need a little clarity.
Yes, ma'am. We have, in the benefits department, we have one opening that is filled by one temporary employee. That position is posted currently, so they're going through the PRC process to fill that position. On the payroll side, we have two vacancies. We have a posting for one of those vacancies. The other vacancy was because someone moved from our office down to the fiscal office. We presume that we'll be approved to post for those vacancies as well. There's been the tests have been ongoing and lists have been generated. It's a tough fill based on the pay rate and the expectations, but they are vacancies that we anticipate filling with full-time permanent employees at some point.
Thank you. That's helpful. If we were to fill those vacancies, if they were filled today, would we still need main sale employees?
The Quick Employment employees moving forward, I would I would argue that we would like to have them for a short term while we go through the ERP implementation with all the testing, et cetera, that's ongoing. But I would say that once systems are up and operating, if we were fully staffed on the full-time county staff side, we would not need the temporary employees after a time after go live.
Okay, good to know. And one of the questions, and I'm not sure if you said this or not, whether it was capital or installation expense. I would think it would be installation. Is that where we're coming from on this?
I actually will phone a friend here. The IT team answered this question for me because they are overseeing the ERP, and they answered a capital expense.
Yes, the capital expense would be inclusive, I'm sorry, this is Janelle from IT. The capital expense would be inclusive of the implementation expense.
Okay, so
They're
that's
the same bucket.
All right, so the 99,000 of continuing the mainsail employees, even though we have vacancies open, so we're considering this to be a capital expense instead of a installation expense. Is that right? Then the whole 99,000?
Well, the portion of it that is for the ERP, which I believe is 50%, is going towards the implementation, which is a capitalizable expense. So we are able to, if the work that is done directly with implementing the ERP, it can be capitalized.
And then
Okay, and then how about the other 50,000?
I'm sorry, I talked over your question, Councilwoman. I apologize.
If 50% is ERP and being attributed to capital expense, what does the other 50,000, how is that expended?
Those expenses are split between a general fund, 23%, and that is the payroll process. The payroll staff is paid out of the general fund. And then the 27% remaining is the benefits administration fund. That's the young lady that is working in the benefits area. The time that she will not be spending on the ERP will be paid out of the benefits administration funds.
Got it, that's helpful. Thank you for the answers.
Thank you.
Any further questions from the board members? Okay, hearing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Dale Miller, second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, item BC 2020-497, Fiscal Department, submitting an amendment to a contract with Protiviti Government Services, Inc. through its staffing division, Robert Half Government, for temporary staffing services, and it's for the period March 1st, 2019 through through February 28th, 2022, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $50,000. And I would just like to note that I got a response today for the advanced question that was posed on Thursday, and hopefully the council members had a chance to go over the responses.
This is Michael Zapola from the fiscal office, and first, to echo Andrea's comment there, I was out Friday, so I apologize for not getting back to you on those advanced questions. Basically, we're adding additional dollars to a contract. It really relates to a specific individual who's been working to do some of the backfilling that we have in the fiscal office right now, as well as working on the cash reconciliation project that is hopefully nearing completion.
Thank you, Michael. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
I see why she heard decision. I get it. So they basically.
Okay, I think that's just some feedback. Hearing no questions from the board, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, item approved. The next item.
The next item is a two-part item, item number BC 2020-498, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services. A, submitting an RFP exemption on requisition 2533, which will result in an award recommendation to Caseware, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $41,640 for 8 licenses and subscription services for an intelligence platform for use by the Northeast Ohio Regional Fusion Center to share, query, and analyze intelligence and suspicious activity for the period September 1st, 2020, and at the request of the department, the end time is being changed to March 31st, 2021. And B, recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Good morning. This is Mary Beth Fawn from Public Safety. Can everybody hear me? Because you're cutting out on me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And on the phone with me in case there are technical questions is the Director of the Fusion Center, Michael Erb. And as Andrea mentioned, this software is used to collect, analyze, and share suspicious activity reports. It's related to the county's anti-terrorism efforts. And what's happened is the Fusion Center is part of the statewide network, and the State Fusion Center has actually moved to a new intelligence platform with Caseware. And so what we're asking to do is to move our software over to the same network so that we can continue to take advantage of those networking opportunities. This is a grant-funded purchase, and Ohio EMA has already approved the award.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
Yes. And Andrea's initial piece broke up for me, and did you announce contract dates that were different than what's in the agenda?
Yes, the contract's going to end March 31st, 2021 instead of March 15th.
Okay, fine.
Any further questions from the board? Lenora? Yeah, I think we're going to have to make a motion here to approve this as an amended item with the updated date. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the item as amended. Do I have a second?
Second. Dale Miller, second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, the item is approved as amended. Next item.
Thank you.
Item number BC 2020-499, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Children and Family Services, submitting an amendment to an agreement with University of Maryland, Baltimore, on behalf of the School of Social Work, Institute for Innovation and Implementation, to develop, integrate, and sustain best practices and programs to improve the well-being, stability, and permanency of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, and two-spirit children and youth in foster care. It's for the period September 30th, 2017 through September 29th, 2020, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $94,318.
Good morning. This is Karen Anderson from the Division of Children and Family Services. This is an award from the University of Maryland for our federal grant to serve LGBT youth. This is an additional award amount. The reason that it's expiring in a month or so is because the University of Maryland, who's the federal grantee, needs to get permission for these carryover dollars from the Federal Children's Bureau. Then once the plan is approved, Maryland processes it and gets it to us. So we've in fact continued to serve young people and do that. We have contracts in place with our providers, but this is essentially additional money that then we'll be able to go and to bill Maryland for the services we've already committed to because this is part of the award. I'll take questions.
Thank you, Karen. Are there any questions for Karen on this item from the board?
this is Dale, and, Ms. Anderson, my question is, how long have we been receiving these funds so far? And do you have any sense as to, how long we'll be able to continue to receive them?
This, Councilman Miller, thank you for the question. This is a 5-year federal grant for Maryland, a 4-year federal grant for us. The first year they put out the RFP for local child welfare sites, and we were one of the 4 selected. So it's a 4-year project. We began in September of 2017 and will continue through September of 2021. So we have another year to use these dollars. And then, you know, we're hoping we'll have evidence that we can make a determination about whether we should use some of our existing family service contract dollars to support some of the services that have shown to be effective.
And, Ms. Anderson, do we have any prospects for receiving additional federal money after the end date in 2021, or are we pretty well convinced that this is going to be it on the federal money?
Well, this will be it for this particular grant. The feds may determine that this was an effective population to serve, and they will issue another call for grants. This was a demonstration project, so they were really trying to learn about effective interventions for LGBTQ youth in child welfare. It hadn't been done before. So the answer is this sort of demonstration, but now that they have some shown interventions, it's possible they could issue something to continue those. It's hard to say.
And Ms. Anderson, since we've now been at this for 2 or 3 years, do we have any evaluation data so far locally as to how effective this program is and what kind of positive outcomes it's able to accomplish?
We do. We have a tremendous amount of data. Because this is a demonstration project, it is heavily evaluated by the University of Maryland and for the Federal Children's Bureau. So I would be happy to share that with you. When we started this, only about 3% of our kids were comfortable telling us that they were, you know, gay or lesbian, questioning, perhaps transgender. Today, it's 10%, and I believe that's totally due to the work of this grant. And in fact, I'm hoping that soon another study that was done nationally here in Cuyahoga County will be a result of us being able to release that from the feds, showing that 30% of our teenagers in care identify somewhere as gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or questioning. So I'd be happy to share all of the data with you.
Okay, I would appreciate that, and thanks for the good work that you do on this.
Thank you.
Any final questions from the board? Okay, hearing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Dale Miller, second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, item BC 2020-500, Sheriff's Department, recommending an award on a purchase order and enter into an agreement with Cuyahoga Community College Public Safety Training Center in the amount not to exceed $250,000 for 5 virtual and 25 in-person scenario-based training sessions for 2,500 sworn peace officers within Cuyahoga County. And it's for the period August 31st, 2020 through August 30th, 2021.
Stephen Wood with the Sheriff's Department. This is an agreement with Tri-C for police training to be conducted for 2,500 officers within Cuyahoga County. The goal of this agreement is to ensure that all officers within the county have the same police training, including de-escalation tactics, use of force, detainment training, and that training is regardless of their agency or municipality. This was originally proposed to the county council by Tri-C and is requested by both council and the administration to be implemented. The cost of this agreement is not to exceed $250,000 or about $100 per officer. And the contract term is from August 31st, 2020 today through August 30th, 2021, which is a year which we hope is enough time to have this training conducted, though that timetable may change based on COVID and trying to coordinate with all different agencies to get these officers. Within that training, there will be 25 100-officer scenario-based sessions, and there will be 5 live stream sessions for up to 500 officers in each session, which will include all the training necessary. Tri-C will provide all the tools necessary for all the remote training to be conducted. And I believe we have Councilman Gallagher and Chief Harris on the phone if they would like to add anything for the board.
I do not have anything further.
Yes, and Deputy, I think you did a fantastic job, so I'll just stand by. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
Yes.
Nan Baker, I have a question.
Go ahead, Nan.
Go ahead, Nan, and I'll follow.
Thank you. Just a quick question. We did have a pretty extensive committee meeting, discussing, all the different chiefs and cities and what they wanted to do to come together. It was a very good meeting. I'm just, confirming that those same chiefs, of police, agree with this training and that, all cities in Cuyahoga County will be included in this, and that they're all on the same page as to what the training, how the training will take place.
This is Chief Harris.
Yes.
Yes, and thank you so much for that question. Yes, you're absolutely correct. There are several meetings and constant meetings going on through the county about what training and what means and differences that we need to do to combat a lot of these issues. And so I've solicited in the early stages of this Cuyahoga County Police Chiefs Association and the National Organization of Law Enforcement Executives, Greater Cleveland Chapter of Noble, and so many others, of course. But the county chiefs specifically have been engaged in this process from the very beginning. They are aware of everything. They also sit on the committees. They sit on the committees for how we develop the training and the continuous progress that we made thus far. So yes, they are included. They've been involved, and even in our other committees dealing with the community, we've had the Mayors and City Managers Association part of that team too, in order to coordinate and have others that are participatory in the success of this training and exactly what we've implemented in the modules and how it's being delivered, and it's the right and appropriate thing that everyone is looking for at this point in time. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, that's a very good answer. It's the one I was hoping to hear, and good luck on this process. Good that you're open in your communication and that all cities are aware of this opportunity, and I appreciate your good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Miller?
Yes, thank you. And my question is whether my memory serves me correctly, that there's a total universe of about 7,500 foreign police officers in Cuyahoga County who could receive this training, and if so, whether we're planning to do additional rounds after this round so that everybody receives training.
Councilman Miller, thank you for that question. And yes, our goal is, number one, to take this first large chunk and get that portion done where we have a decent line, a decent baseline of officers with the training, and of course open it up after that point for more, which will also be more inclusive of those that, you know, are actually out there every day serving the public and on the road, but also include part-timers and anybody that's sworn and serving our community. The goal is to have everybody, but this is the first start of it, so thank you very much.
Okay, well, I would like to commend everybody involved and particularly Chief Harris and my colleague Councilman Gallagher for their excellent leadership. I think this is the kind of positive, cooperative effort that we need to make progress on police-community relations and performance in Cuyahoga County.
Okay, any final questions from the board? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Dale Miller, second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, item approved. Next
And,
item.
just
yes.
one thing, Chief Harris, are you still on the line?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Just for the record, this is Andrea Richardson, Clerk of the Board. I just need your first name for the record.
The first name is Clayton, Clayton.
Thank you very much, Chief Harris. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item when you get a chance. Good.
We're moving on to exemptions. Item number BC 2020-501, Department of Public Works, recommending an alternative procurement process to conduct an informal competitive request for proposals process, which will result in award recommendations to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $450,000 for COVID-19 screening services in various county buildings.
Good morning, Tom Pavich, Department of Public Works. This item, we're requesting an alternative procurement process, which will allow Public Works to release an informal RFP for the building screening services. This will be released in BuySpeed, which is OPD's bidding software. We've already identified, I believe, 22 vendors that are registered in that commodity code in BuySpeed. We've also built a plan holders list with qualified vendors in conjunction with HR. We've added additional vendors to that plan holders list. They will be emailed the RFP directly. We've also included the current vendors that are in place, so they have an opportunity to bid as well. And again, this is for the building screening services that we currently have in place. This will be a new competitive process. This is the alternative procurement piece. Any future contracts that stem from the RFP will come back to the board for contract approval.
Thank you, Tom. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
Yes, this is Dale. And my question is, I know that the administration had talked about having people who were doing non-essential employment that could not be done virtually, that some of these people might shift into doing screening services at county buildings. And my question is whether any such personnel are actually providing such services, and if so, how many?
Councilman Miller, this is Nicole English from Public Works, and we are working towards that goal. I think there was some discussions going on with the bargaining units, and we hope in the next week or two we're going to start rolling that out. This service is going to be just sort of our backstop to be sure that if we don't have enough employees to do the screening, or if there's off times that we can't fill with employees, that we still have the ability to tap into a contract.
But I do believe, Mike Chambers here, I do believe there's, I think, 4 or 5 employees that are currently volunteering in some of the locations, whether it's HHS buildings or not. But yes, as Nicole did say, we are preparing a list, and we do have some others that have volunteered and are waiting to be trained. We're just waiting to kind of work out the kinks of some of the other issues and move forward from there. So any further questions on this item? Lenore, did you have something?
Lenora Lockett, Office for Procurement and Diversity. I just more informational. There's that it may be more than one. Are y'all looking to do a master contract or stand alone, or you haven't decided yet?
I think we haven't decided until we see what comes in. because we want to try to see what the rates are and availability. Our fear is that if for some reason one isn't going to be able to guarantee always the right amount of people, we could need two. Because right now we are using two off and on. So we wanted it to be open so that once we see what comes in, we can make a final decision.
Okay, hearing no further questions, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Lisa Rocco. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Item number BC 2020-502, Department of Public Works, recommending an alternative procurement process which will result in award recommendation to Pitney Bowes in the amount not to exceed $550,000 for the purchase of postage for the period August 31st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
Good morning, Tom Pavich, Public Works again. This item requesting an alternate procurement process that's going to result in a purchase order encumbrance to Pitney Bowes. This is for the Cuyahoga County's mail postage. It's a not-to-exceed dollar amount. Hopefully I answered the pre-board questions. The postage is actually loaded to the Pitney Bowes mail machines that we have. We're currently under contract with Pitney Bowes, but this postage is loaded to those machines, and it is for all the county's postage machines.
Thank you, Tom. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Okay, hearing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Lisa Rocco. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, item approved. Next item.
Thank you. Thank you.
Item BC 2020-503, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Senior and Adult Services, recommending an alternative procurement process which will result in payments to National Council on Aging in the total amount not to exceed $18,000 for use of their healthcare benefits portal for the period January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2021.
Hello, this is Daniel Basta, Department of Health and Human Services on behalf of Senior and Adult Services. This is a service that provides seniors with the ability to check the benefits portal for the National Council on Aging. It provides the senior and the adult protective services worker the ability to see that the benefits that the senior is enrolled in is currently their best option. The reason why we're searching for alternate procurement is previously this was paid by voucher, and now currently we need a mechanism to pay that, so it has to be entered within Infor.
Thank you, Dan.
To answer your question.
Are there any questions for Dan on this item? Okay, hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Lisa Rocco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, item approved. Moving on.
Moving on to the consent agenda, item numbers BC 2020-504 through 505.
If you take a moment to review and speak if you have any questions. Time, are there any questions from the board on any of these items? Okay, hearing none, I will make a motion to approve today's consent agenda item. Do I have a second?
Dale Miller.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, item approved. Moving on.
Moving on to additional business. We have two time-sensitive mission-critical items from the Department of Public Works. The first item is recommending an award on requisition 2974 to North Coast Event Services in the amount not to exceed $14,650, and it's for the purchase of barricade rental for the Justice Center. The general fund is the funding source being utilized.
Good morning, Tom Pavich, Public Works. This item, we're requesting approval of the Mission Critical with North Coast. This is for barricades, the rental of barricades. Due to the riots that were downtown, there was additional events that were taking place over the following weeks into the following month, where the Sheriff's Department had requested barricades be set up around the Justice Center complex. We looked into renting versus purchasing these, and the best, most cost-effective was to rent these. To purchase the number that we actually rented was upwards of $75,000 to $85,000. So this is the rental of those barricades.
Okay, thank you, Tom. I am going to make a motion to amend today's agenda for time-sensitive mission-critical item number 1. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Nicole.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, opposed? Okay, it's been amended. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
Yes, I have a question, and the question is whether we're doing any barricading going forward, or is this expense that we're talking about covering only past activity?
This was for a past activity. We are looking into putting out an informal bid for this in the event there are additional events. We know there'll be additional events in the downtown area in lieu of everything that's been going on across the country. So I think there's an anticipation that we may need these again, and we are being proactive in putting out an actual bid for the rental of these as opposed to the purchase.
And how many additional events would we have to have so that the equation changes and it makes sense to purchase rather than rent?
That's a good point. I really don't know. I think we will discuss that internally with Nicole and Mr. Dever, and in addition to the Sheriff's Office, and we may have to make that decision if it's more cost efficient to outright purchase. As I said, the outright purchase was in the $75,000 to $85,000 range. This was the one-time purchase, the one-time rental fee.
Hopefully, we're nearing the end of this series of events for a while.
I agree.
Nicole English from Public Works. The other thing, Councilman Miller, to consider is it is a storage issue too, as to where we would store these if we own them, and then putting them up and down. So this company comes and brings them for us, so and takes them down. So the labor is included also. So just another thing that we considered when we looked at renting or buying.
Yeah, and the number rented was in the hundreds. So as Nicole did mention, that's a good point that, to store, 300, 350 of these barricades, we would need quite a large space. So, and to transport them as well.
Okay, any further questions from any of the board members on this item?
Madam Baker, question?
Yes.
When we had the Republican National Convention 4 years ago, and we had such a heightened amount of security from many different, even states coming in, was there a need for barricades at that time? Did we rent them, or how did we? There seems to be other times that barricading is needed. How do we handle that?
Nicole,
off the top of my head, I honestly don't recall being involved with barricades. I know there was a lot of stone and concrete barricades set up around downtown. But Nicole, I don't know if you could chime in if you recall us having to take care of anything from a public works standpoint.
I think primarily it was led by the city, and they used the RNC funds for what they needed to do and rent and put up. I don't believe that we independently barricaded the Justice Center at that time, but I'm not 100%.
I'm pretty sure we didn't.
Okay, and just a follow-up. There has not been a time between then and now that we would have needed barricades just for crowd control, or, different, activities that go on in downtown Cleveland, that we need barricades to kind of keep people in certain sections? That
No,
has-
I mean,
has
typically,
a different need?
typically, again, these are city of Cleveland is the one doing it. You know, if there's a race downtown or a concert on the mall, they're in charge of that. So, you know, the only reason we were using these barriers is to protect our building. So I don't believe that we have had a reason to barricade the entire Justice Center between then and now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any final questions?
Mr. Chairman, this is Trevor. I just have a question on the 14,650. How many weeks or days were we able to rent these for that price?
These were, let me just take a quick look here. This was, I think this was for a month. This was well into July, because I believe there was an additional event in early July. This was June into July.
Okay. And then the informal bid that you might be putting out soon, Tom, if you haven't already, I'm sorry, I missed that if you have or have not, but.
We have not.
Is it going to be for the same type of barricade? Are we considering something different than the kind of current barricades that we did use last month, or what would we put the informal bid out for?
That's a good question, Trevor, and I don't 100% know. You know, that's something I'll talk to the trades based on their experience with what works and what doesn't work, as well as the sheriff's office. You know, these were standard, I think, 6'5" sections. These are almost like bike rack barricades.
Yeah.
You know, and there's not too many vendors that have a large quantity. So, you know, when we put the bid out, you know, I think we have to stress that, you know, it could be up to this quantity. You know, unless we're going to have to go with a certain quantity where we have to split between two vendors based on availability. But, you know, we'll discuss internally with what the best specification is, but also the most cost effective. You know, I don't think we can be bringing in concrete barriers, which will definitely increase the cost. So, but we'll discuss it internally before we get it released. The intent is to get it released this week, so.
Okay, and then final question, just from a purchasing perspective, why are we treating this as a mission critical? Why wouldn't, if this was over a month ago, why didn't we just put this on the regular agenda?
Because I believe you know, there was an upcoming event in the downtown area the day we deploy, or a day before we deploy this. I can't remember off the top of my head what that event was. We did a price check with local vendors that actually have this quantity. You know, we looked at the outright purchase. You know, I know there was a time constraint. I mean, if we had more than a week before we knew there was going to be an event, I think we would have put it out for a quick bid and then walked on possibly a DO. But, you know, I believe we only had a very short time to get these deployed, you know, in anticipation of another downtown event that took place over in that area.
No, I apologize. I meant more for why didn't it make the printed agenda? Why are we walking this on as a separate item versus just putting it on the regular agenda if we knew about this a month ago?
Lenora Lockett, Office of Procurement and Diversity. A time-sensitive mission-critical purchase means that the department has already authorized the purchase. Then they bring it at a later date to the Board of Control for us to confirm that we agree that that was a time-sensitive mission-critical. So at this point, they've already made the commitment to the vendor, and this is more of the board confirming that we feel that their decision was consistent with our view of a time-sensitive mission critical.
Okay, so it still can't be placed on the agenda before it goes out, though? But, I mean, that's what I'm getting at first, is that, like, not appearing on agenda and then we adding it to the agenda later on, like we're doing now?
Lenora Lockett, Office of Procurement and Diversity. Andrea and I were just speaking today with our next rollout of procedures to document how we would like to bring time-sensitive mission criticals to the board on the agenda. Since the department has already made the purchase, the timing on the agenda is just a matter of transparency and an accountability. It does not prevent the department from making that purchase as long as it's consistent with the procedures for that purchase.
Yeah, no, I got that part. I think from a transparency perspective, though, if we know it's coming, I like the idea that you and Andrea are considering putting it on the agenda, though, just so people from the public, the Board of Control members, they know what to anticipate, because as Andrea mentioned, we just got this maybe an hour or so ago.
Yes, Lenora Lockett again. Yes, we're trying to find a way to make sure the department knows and that we have a way to make it on the agenda so that it, that is not perceived as a walk-on, because it is a purchase that's already been made, and then we can just have it make the agenda whenever we receive the documentation that's needed for that printed agenda. The lines that you were recommending, Trevor?
Yeah, to have it on the agenda, right, when it goes out on Wednesdays or Thursdays.
Okay, any final questions? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve this Mission Critical number 1. Do I have a second?
Dale Miller, second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mission Critical item number 1 is approved. Next item.
Recommending an award on requisition number 48603 with the Department of Public Works. The awardee is Suburban Marble and Granite Co. This is for the replacement of granite at the Justice Center in the amount not to exceed $13,615. And the funding source being utilized is the general fund.
Good morning, Tom Pavich again, Public Works. This item requesting approval of another Mission Critical related to riots to downtown Cleveland as well. This was, I believe, the granite, I believe it was located at the Justice Center at the judge's entrance that was damaged during the riots. We gave the green light to proceed because there was a lead time. The vendors had to fabricate, custom cut the marble due to the damage, and this was the presentation. The vendor Suburban Marble, the dollar amount $13,615.
Okay, thank you, Tom. I am going to make a motion to amend today's agenda once again for time-sensitive Mission Critical item number 2. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Nicole English. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the agenda has been amended. Are there any questions from the board members?
Just one question, Ann Baker.
Sure.
So the granite that needs to be replaced, if I'm understanding you correctly, was at the Justice Center. Does that mean that the entrance was impacted, or was this outside the Justice Center?
Tom, I'll take this. Councilwoman Baker, this is Matt Reimer representing the Department of Public Works. Thank you for your question. This was damage sustained during the event on May 30th, 2020, specifically to panels that line the entrance to the Lakeside parking garage entrance where the judges pull in. There are 2 pedestrian walkways adjacent to these damaged panels, as well as some panels that were damaged on the west 3rd side, again, immediately adjacent to pedestrian walkways.
All right, so this was a parking lot damage, do I understand that right?
No, well, the Lakeside entrance into the Justice Center is a ramp that goes down into the parking structure. These were granite panels that line that downward ramp with pedestrian walkways on either side of them.
Okay. And I guess my question, what I'm getting to, is that did this penetrate the actual building?
No.
It did not.
It did not.
Outside.
Okay. Thank you very much for your answer.
Okay, any further questions? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve today's time-sensitive Mission Critical item number 2. Do I have a second?
Second.
Dale Miller, second.
I think seconded by Councilwoman Baker.
Thank you.
Say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Continue on with public comment.
Do we have any public comment at this time?
Okay, okay.
Since there's no public comment, I would like to announce that the county offices will be closed on Monday, September 7th, in observance of the Labor Day holiday, and the next scheduled Board of Control meeting will take place on Tuesday, September 8th.
Thank you, Andrea. With that being said, I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Miss Lisa Rocco. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.